Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1. Adrien Broner versus Omar Figueroa could be next. Stay tuned. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang, notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the super chats, you guys holding it down. I went live earlier today, held it down definitely. Shout out to Ego Army. Shout out to the Patreons, the Venmo, just the channel donations and all the interaction and support. Now I'm back with my segment Ego Rumor Mill, aka where I talk about just that, rumors. Rumor has it, word on the street, Adrien Broner may come back off of his Mikey Garcia loss in April or May, springtime-ish, right before the summer, to face none other than rugged Omar Figueroa of Texas. I want to talk about the prospects of this fight. It would be a main event, and I like it. In fact, I like it so much that I called for this fight. Some of you guys may not have been on my channel back then because I was a lot smaller 2 years ago. You know, I mean, each year we grow and the numbers double and stuff. But 2 years ago, I was doing this series routinely. Maybe I have to get back into it, called Ego Matchmakers, where it, just like the title suggests, I play matchmakers. And it's funny because I called for a lot of fights. Mayweather Maidana. On this particular episode, I called for Ruslan Provodnikov versus Matisse. Just fights I think were interesting. And then the Ruslan Matisse happened. And if you guys go trace the steps and look at the timestamps of the date, this was well before it was rumored or the fight was signed or anything like that. But on that episode 2 years ago, I also said I would love to see Adrien Broner versus Omar Figueroa. Now, I know I said it 2 years ago, but the fight, I still don't mind seeing it. Here's why. Adrien Broner, he has 3 losses. Chino Maidana, right? Chino Maidana, Sean Porter, and then recently Mikey Garcia. And some people would even say maybe even a Daniel Ponce de Leon or even a Paulie Malignaggi could possibly have been controversial, but the judges seen it his way. So as it sits, he has 3 losses. Coming off a loss, to me, this is a difficult fight for Broner. Not saying he doesn't have the skills or the talent to win, but when I mean difficult is Broner's best performance to me was Antonio DeMarco. And he's put up some solid performance or solid moments, but I haven't seen him step in with the upper echelon names and put on that type of tour de force performance since DeMarco. You know what I mean? Like, he knocked Sean Porter down, but then he lost 11 rounds preceding that. You know what I mean? Before that. Things like that. So he has some wins, but, and the, you know what I mean? The Emmanuel Taylor was a war, but then, and he knocked him down in the 12th round. But this, to me, the reason why I like the fight is, one, he's coming off a loss. So you got to respect that. And to me, Broner, I mean, say what you will about him, there's no one that's realistic, that's not speaking from a place of biasness or pure hate, that can deny the man's heart. It's just like, say what you want about Amir Khan, you say, oh, he doesn't have the best chin, whatever. You can't deny a guy's heart. Amir Khan got heart, Broner got heart. End of story. You know what I'm saying? Because if Broner comes off of a loss to Mikey Garcia and fights Omar Figueroa, to me, it's a dangerous style matchup because Omar Figueroa, he looks decently tall, and if you look at how he fights, that's the style that has probably given Broner the most problems throughout his career. You know what I mean? You look at the Chino Maidana fight, right? Pressure. Sean Porter, pressure. Even Paulie Malignaggi wasn't a big puncher, but in those early rounds, those early goings, Paulie Malignaggi pressured him and put a high volume of punches, wasn't afraid of Broner, and was bringing the fight to Broner. Even guys like Daniel Ponce de Leon. So, and I think Mikey Garcia kind of emulated some of the Maidana, even though he wasn't as big as Maidana and didn't have that much of a size advantage over Broner. He kind of emulated the pressure. I was at the fight in New York. So that's really the way and style Omar Figueroa fights. Like, I'm not saying he's technically sound. Sometimes it looks kind of sloppy-ish. He's had some performances that weren't really his greatest performance. However, you do have to respect the fact that off of a long layoff, he came back and fought a battle-tested Robert Guerrero, and he's the only person to stop Robert Guerrero, right? And I'm realistic, so I would say Guerrero, he had taken several losses. You know what I mean? Keith Thurman, I'm sure that put a lot of mileage on him. He got hurt in that fight badly. The Keith Thurman fight, the fight with Floyd Mayweather put mileage on him because he was hurt in that fight to me. Aaron Martinez hurt him. So, you know what I mean? He took war after war. Danny Garcia, he kept taking war after war. So you could say by the time he fought Omar Figueroa, maybe he was a shell of his former self. But nonetheless, as it sits, for whatever reason, none of them other guys stopped Robert Guerrero, and Omar Figueroa did. And he made it look relatively easy, sending Robert Guerrero into retirement. So again, you can't say anything about Broner's heart at all, because if he's coming off of a loss and he's fighting the style that is giving him problems, the pressure style, guys with good pop, good power, that are rugged and tough. To my knowledge, Omar Figueroa has never been stopped. You know what I mean? So this could be a good fight. I think they should put it in Broner's hometown. I covered his fight with Granados. That's another tough fight for Broner. You know what I mean? I was at that fight. They could put it in Cincinnati, or I think they could put it in Texas, where Omar Figueroa is from. And now I think that people would come out. I mean, put it in San Antonio or somewhere like that. I think that would be a big event. So I'll keep you guys posted if the fight is actually done and finalized. But props to Omar Figueroa. He said he was going to come down from 47 to 140. Broner says he couldn't make 140. It's tricky with Broner because he said he couldn't make 140 anymore. And then he said he's moving up to welterweight. Then he fought Adrien Granados. It was supposed to be at like a catch weight of like low 140s, 142, 143. And then he said he got sick in camp, so they bumped it up to welterweight. And then his next fight, it was at 140 with Mikey Garcia, and there was a hefty penalty if he were to miss weight. So he made weight, but he didn't put on a good performance. So I don't really know at this point. Both guys have kind of flexed and filled from 140 to 147. I don't know what weight they would have this at. I don't know if it'd be at a catch weight of 145. I don't know if it'd be at the solid 140 junior welter, or if it'd be at the full welterweight. But good thing is, both of them have fought at those weights. Both of them have fought at 140 and 147. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't remember what fight, but in Omar Figueroa, if you do the research, in his last, I want to say 3 or 4 fights, he missed weight by a lot before the Robert Guerrero fight. He was supposed to make weight, and he missed it by a heavy amount, and it wasn't a good look. So I like the fight. I think it's a good fight, and I think PBC is for their regular Showtime calendar murdering HBO. I don't know what HBO. You gotta do something, baby. All the people. Where are all the people that said PBC is on the decline? They don't have enough money to pay their fighters. And listen, not every fight is gonna be Joshua versus Wilder or Canelo Triple G. You know what I mean? And usually when those fights happen, they're pay-per-view, so it doesn't really matter your premium package anyway, because you would have to buy a pay-per-view for those Conor McGregor Floyd fights and stuff like that. But PBC, if they get the fights that are all slated or rumored and or signed, they've dropped a lot of fights already. Errol Spence in January versus Lamont Peterson, good fight. Javier Fortuna moving up to test a lightweight champion who's had some tough fights with Denis Shafikov and Richard Comey and Robert Easter. You know what I mean? Good fight. They're talking about Danny Garcia versus Brandon Rios. One guy's coming off a loss. Brandon Rios is tough. We'll see. I think it could be entertaining just based on the style of the two fights. Danny Garcia does better if you bring the fight to him, and Brandon Rios brings the fight right to you, and he's tough. So we'll see. But Rios might even be bigger than Danny Garcia. I don't know. They're talking about Keith Thurman versus Vargas, Broner versus Omar Figueroa. Like I said, some of these fights help shape the division better, but some of them just seem like just entertaining fights, and they're all PBC is coming up with. So I don't know. I like it. I haven't really heard too many HBO fights, right? ESPN has a lot of top-ranked, their up-and-coming fights. So Lomachenko's and the Crawfords, their next fights, Crawford versus Horn, would probably be on ESPN. So it's like, what is HBO going to do? Who are they going to put? I've heard about Sergey Kovalev. He's fighting an unknown Igor Mikhelkin. I do like the co-main event a lot, Sullivan Barrera versus Dimitri Bivol. But other than that, I haven't really heard of too many fights that are already rumored or scheduled. Of course, Canelo versus Triple G is a good fight. However, that's, again, going to be on pay-per-view. I'm talking about premium networks, because if you have an HBO subscription, if you have a Showtime subscription, and then Canelo Triple G comes on pay-per-view, you still have to shell out the cash to either travel to the fight or support the pay-per-view. You know what I mean? Having an HBO subscription is not going to cut it. You know what I mean? So it'll be interesting to see what HBO has been getting their ass kicked to me in terms of their premium package and the fights they're putting on. Like I said, I think Broner, even Danny Garcia and Rios, Broner, Omar Figueroa, these should all be entertaining, fun fights. They're also talking about for PBC, Devin Alexander versus Victor Ortiz. Again, Devin Alexander, he broke a dry spell, and he looked good in his last fight. Victor Ortiz, it's not a bad fight. Again, is it the premier fight? No, but I mean, Devin Alexander has to kind of work his way up the ladder. He looked good in his last fight, take on a name like Victor Ortiz, and then maybe we get to see an Amir Khan rematch, or Devin Alexander versus Berto or something, or Victor Ortiz if he beats Devin Alexander, or you know what I mean, whoever, Luis Collazo versus one of them dudes. So there's a lot of different options, and that's the beauty of PBC having a vast stable. Let me know what you guys think of Broner versus Figueroa. Again, I talked about this fight 2 years ago, and even with the current landscape of boxing, I still don't mind it. And Broner, he's gonna have to show something. Coming off a loss, you know what I mean? You have to show that you want to be a boxer still, don't want to be, you know what I mean, just a rapper and a showman and entertainer, because Omar Figueroa, he does come to scrap, and he's tough. Like, for all his technical flaws and stuff like that, you can't really deny that he's tough. And I talked to his dad and interviewed him a long time ago when I was starting up the channel, and he used to spar with Edwin Valero, you know what I mean? And I believe he was like a kid. He was pretty young when he was sparring with him. And I heard they used to go to war. So, I mean, the dude's definitely tough. So Broner, just like I said, Ponce de Leon, Paulie Malignaggi with the pressure, Adrien Granado, Sean Porter, Maidana, those are the styles that have given to me, and even Mikey Garcia. He pressured good too. Those are the styles that have given Broner the most problems. So very interesting fight to see. We know Broner is sharper, flashier, you know what I mean, when he's letting off combinations, but that style particularly that Omar Figueroa has, and that toughness, could make it interesting. Let me know your fight predictions. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. Make sure you smash the like button. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video is Ego signing off. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.